commiserations on the loss. A good start, but what are your overall thoughts on the match?
Yeah, we turned up like we're ready to play. It's a terrific start, the sort of start you want when you're on the road. And then in the middle part of the game, we just got beaten up at the contest, really, around clearance, around contested ball. We fumbled. Credit to Freo, their pressure was good. They tackled well, high efficiency, 74%. That's a great number. Ours is 53%, which is a really poor number. We tackled them, but they were able to get those little handballs free that helped their players break out into space and get clean entries inside 50. And probably losing Gardner was a bit of a blow to us in terms of tall players in our back end. Because they got a bit of supply, they were able to dominate in the air a little bit, particularly in the third quarter. So there was a bit of that. Look, the way we finished the game well, we kept having a crack. There was no issue there. It's just that 2 weeks in a row now, the middle part of the game have been a problem to us, and I've never encountered that with this group before. So I've got a little bit of work to do on that. Fortunately, we've got a few days now before we play Collingwood, so we just have to go to work on it. We've been 0-2 before and made top 4. It's a long way away, but we just have to think clearly about what's going on and try and find some solutions.
As you mentioned, it's something new to have those drop-offs in the middle of the game for you.
Yeah.
Do you have any early theories?
No, I don't have an early theory, I must admit. Haven't seen them coming both times that they've occurred. And we tried a lot of things today to quell Fremantle's momentum. We took a spare behind the ball. We played an extra at the stoppage. They're the usual things that you do. But it didn't make any difference in the middle part of that game, which is disappointing. You want to stop momentum. You don't want teams to score a lot of goals in a row, but that's happened twice in a row now.
Missing the combination of Neil to win the ball for you and Coleman to use the ball for you. How damaging was that today, do you feel?
I wouldn't like to blame it on that, because that would mean we're maybe in a bit of trouble for the rest of the season. No, we've got to be better than that. You certainly miss players, and sometimes it takes you a little while to replace. I mean, Lockie will be right for the next game anyway, but no, we needed to get more out of the players that we had in the team today than we actually did. So,
talked about Fremantle's clean entry inside 50. What about your own forward connection? Your inside 50s, your numbers are up against opposition both weeks.
Yeah.
Are you happy with the connection going in, or the
No,
delivery of the ball?
No, it's a bit of work we needed. I mean, last week we took 16 marks, so we got the connections last week. We just didn't kick straight. But tonight we didn't get the connections all that well. I mean, at times, there were just some silly mistakes, that guys made, drop marks, fumbles, inexplicable things. Obviously, opposition pressure has a little bit to do with that, but, I've seen those boys take those marks and not fumble those balls. So, something to work on.
Much of a headache was Caleb Strong today.
He played a great game, didn't he? Like, large numbers. We tried to tag him in the third quarter, and Dev Robertson did a pretty honourable job. It was probably his quietest quarter, but it wasn't helping us on the scoreboard, so we just went back to attack in the last quarter, which we won the last quarter, so that's good. But no, he was very damaging.
How do you feel about the early bye? Chris, is it handy in some ways for you to be able to get to work on a few of these things?
That is now, yeah. If I'd have won the first 2 games, I'd probably say, I don't want that bye. But it probably will be, just to take a bit of a breath in and work out a few things. I mean, we had a pre-season practice games. I mean, I don't know how much notice you take of them, but we were in pretty good form against the Gold Coast and the Suns, and we were in great form early last week, and then suddenly we find ourselves in this position. So it's a crazy game, football. You know, Collingwood, who played in the grand final last year, are struggling as well. So we just got to find a way. We've been in this position before. We know we were 0-2 a few years back, I reckon. I think we got to 1 win and 3 losses, but finished in the top 4. So, you know, we'll remain optimistic, but we've just got to get to work and find our form pretty quickly.
You mentioned you haven't encountered this with this team before, that sort of through the middle stages of a game, just sort of going off the boil. Is it sort of unfamiliar territory for the players maybe when they get a run of goals on them like this?
No. Look, we've been a pretty good team at stopping and halting momentum, and it's not like we're an inexperienced team. It's something that we've gone young and they don't know what to do. They do. But for some reason or other, and you're better off to. It'll be for all sorts of different reasons, and you know, like in the second quarter, how many inside 50s we have? A lot, didn't we? I reckon it was 14, and they had 14, and we scored 2 points. So that'll be interesting to have a look at what the connection was like there. We obviously created opportunities, but weren't able to win the ball when it went inside our forward line.
You spoke about that inside 50 count. You had 8-0 to start that quarter, but you just couldn't seem to put them away.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that maybe there was a bit of frustration or a bit of just annoyance really with the amount of ball that they were getting, but couldn't convert?
Maybe I'd have to ask the players about that and what they were like out on the ground with each other. They're usually pretty good. They usually work. You know, sometimes you have those patches. You've just got to work through them. But you know, whether it was delivery inside 50 or contest inside 50, I'll bet any money it was a combination of both. But we'll have a good look at that as well.
And just on the injury front, Gardner and McKenna, how serious are those injuries?
Yes, I think Darcy Gardner's done a PCL injury, so that's I don't know what that means in terms of weeks. And Connor McKenna's done a hamstring injury, so there was a bit of injury going on out there tonight. What happened with the Fremantle guys? You know what their injuries are?
It's like
Yeah,
hammy
right.
and Warner concussion and
Yeah.
a few others.
Yeah, no, there was a bit of a war of attrition in the end. But so you know, we've got to go to work again on our back line because Connor's obviously a good rebound defender, so we've lost him and Kitty in the last 2 weeks, so a bit of work for us to do there.
And Jack Payne, for you, what was your reasoning behind leaving him out today, and what are his chances of...
No, he was just out of form last week, and we felt when Gardner went back there that was a better option for us. But you know, we have to revisit that now, obviously. I think Tom Duday's available to play in the next week or two as well.
Have you managed workloads for rounds 1 and 2 this year different to other years because of a bye in round 3? Has it been a different approach?
No, you sort of go, it's a hard question to answer because you go way back. You've got your intra-club practice games and your pre-season games, so we try to work all hours around that so that, you know, we're well managed going into the fact that we've got a bye in round 2. You know, six games for us now that we've played, so it feels like it's 2 games, but it's actually 6 games, so the bye may not be untimely.
What does that look like for the next 2 weeks? What does that look like for you? How do you?
Well, it's only 12 days because I think we play Easter Thursday, so it's not as long as a normal bye. But no, we'll obviously got to get back to Brisbane. We'll give the boys a couple of days off and then get back to work again probably on Thursday.